Now, the issue of who collects what could sometimes be a hazy subject, but whom exactly is entitled to this revenue? The federal or state government? Tax analyst Alesta Wilcox joins me now to shed more light on this matter. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Alesta. Now, let's dive right into this matter. Should revenue from value-added tax be remitted to the federal or to the state government?
Thank you very much. As far as the administration of VAT is concerned, there's a law which is the VAT Act that is existing in the country, and that Act provides that the Federal Inland Revenue Service is the authorizing body that will collect VAT. If you also look at if you go to the Joint Tax Board, through the Joint Tax Board, and even the list of taxes to be collected by each tier of government, the VAT is domiciled with the federal government. So there is no ambiguity about that. So the Federal Inland Revenue Service, or the federal government of Nigeria, through the Federal Inland Revenue Services, is the agency by law authorized to collect VAT. Nigerians were taken aback at the judgment of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt that gave judgment in favor of the River State government to collect VAT. That judgment, as far as I'm concerned, has been appealed, and as a matter of fact, everybody was taken aback on that judgment because the basis upon which that judgment was given was still shrouded in some mystery, and so the FIRS, Federal Revenue Service, has appealed against that judgment. And again, Nigerians, myself, I'm surprised with the haste within which the River State government signed into law a VAT act, which was signed by the governor last week. So, was there a premeditation before now of to where the judgment is going to swing, or has that been prepared awaiting this judgment? So, so to say that they already are aware what the judgment is going to be. How was the VAT Act of River State? I mean, how did the River State Assembly enact that act? Was there a public hearing? Was there so? A lot of things are showing in mystery. So for me,
now Mr. Alesta, I'm sorry to cut you short here, but despite the court judgment, are you saying, according to the law, VAT should be collected, VAT should be remitted to the federal government and not to the state government?
As far as the law is concerned today, and until the legal processes are exhausted, that is through the court, with respect to the judgment of the Port Harcourt or the Federal Court Port Harcourt, the VAT collection is still domiciled with the Federal Revenue Services. And don't forget, the federal government does not collect the VAT and key. The federal government is the collecting agency for VAT, but the bulk of the VAT goes to the state. Because if you look at the revenue sharing formula of VAT, federal government only gets 15% of the revenue, while states get 50% and local government 35%. So the federal government not even benefit much from VAT as much as the state. So the state and local government takes bulk of the revenue from VAT. Not even the federal government, but the collecting agency is the Federal Inland Revenue Services, and it is domiciled in a pool, and it is shared by the federation account on the basis of 15% to federal government, 50% to states, and then 35% to local government. Even within that sharing formula, the process of derivation comes in. There is a percentage that is set aside for derivation, whereby the states that collect more get more. So I do not even understand the views about River State wanting to try to upset the apple cart with respect to VAT collection. But like we said, the matter is in court. The federal government has appealed. The federal government has appealed that judgment, and so there is no point the River State government jumping the gun, not allowing the judicial process to go through, jumping the gun to go and quickly enact a VAT act by the State Assembly and quickly signed into law by the government, and now wanting to compel taxpayers to pay. At the end of the day, if taxpayers comply with that and they lost the case at the appeal court of the Supreme Court, the Federal Revenue Service will not recognize those payments, and then they will be made to pay and pay the penalty. Because don't forget that if you don't file your VAT within a certain number of days, you are going to pay plus penalty plus interest.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you short here, but thank you so much for your contribution, tax analyst Alesta Wilcox. Thank you so much for joining us.